Yo, what is up everybody? It's your name and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're about to dive into some seriously creepy stuff. We're talking about the kind of places that make your heart race just thinking about them. Welcome to our countdown of the 5 scariest places on the planet. If you love a good scare, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Alright guys, first up we're heading deep underground to the catacombs of Paris. This place is not just any ordinary underground tunnel, it's a labyrinth of history and mystery. Imagine stepping into a world where the walls are lined with the remains of millions of people. It's eerie, it's fascinating, and it's a little bit terrifying. Imagine this. You're walking through these narrow, dark tunnels, the air thick and musty. The smell of damp earth and old stone fills your nostrils. Every step you take echoes through the silence, and you can't help but feel a chill run down your spine. It's like stepping into another world, a world where time stands still. And everywhere you look there are bones. Not just a few scattered here and there, but piles and piles of them. Skulls, femurs, ribs, all carefully arranged in patterns. It's a macabre art gallery, a testament to the lives that once were. Each bone tells a story of life and death, of love and loss. Skulls piled high, femurs arranged in patterns. It's like something out of a horror movie. But this isn't fiction. This is real. These bones belong to real people. People who lived and loved, who laughed and cried. It's a sobering reminder of our own mortality, of the fragility of life. They say over 6 million Parisians are buried down here. 6 million. That's an almost unimaginable number. It's like the entire population of a small country all buried beneath the streets of Paris. It's a staggering thought, and it makes you realize just how vast and complex these catacombs really are. That's like the entire population of my hometown and then some. Crazy, right? Just think about it. All those people, all those lives, all those stories, all reduced to bones and dust. It's a humbling experience, to say the least. The craziest part is, these catacombs stretch for miles underground. Miles! It's like an underground city, a city of bones. You could wander these tunnels for days and still not see everything. It's a maze, a labyrinth, a place where you could easily get lost. People get lost down here all the time. It's easy to see why. The tunnels all look the same, and it's easy to lose your sense of direction. One wrong turn, and you could find yourself wandering in circles, surrounded by bones and darkness. Can you imagine stumbling around in the dark, surrounded by millions of skeletons? It's the stuff of nightmares. Every shadow looks like a ghost. Every sound makes your heart race. It's a place where your imagination can run wild, where every fear and phobia comes to life. I'd probably freak out. I'm talking full-on panic attack. The thought of being lost down here, with no way out, is enough to make anyone's heart race. It's a place that tests your courage, your resolve, your very sanity. There are stories of people hearing whispers, feeling cold spots, even seeing shadowy figures. Ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to call them, people say they're down here. It's a place where the veil between the living and the dead is thin, where the past and present collide. I don't know about you, but I'm not sticking around to find out if they're true. It's a place that demands respect, a place that reminds us of our own mortality. So, if you ever find yourself in the catacombs of Paris, remember to tread carefully. You never know what you might find in the City of Bones. Next, we're jumping over to Mexico, to a place called Isla de las Muñecas, or the Island of the Dolls. This place is straight out of a nightmare. Seriously, imagine stepping into a world where every corner you turn, you're met with the unsettling gaze of countless dolls. Picture this. You're on this tiny island, trees are all overgrown, the air is thick with humidity, and the atmosphere is eerily quiet. And there are dolls. Hundreds, maybe even thousands of them. Hanging from trees, nailed to walls and scattered across the ground. Their lifeless eyes staring right at you. It's as if they're watching your every move, waiting for something. The story goes that a little girl drowned in the canal here. A tragic accident that left a mark on the island forever. And the island's caretaker, Don Julian Santana, started hanging up dolls to ward off her spirit. He believed that by doing so, he could appease her restless soul. But it got way out of hand. Over the years, the collection of dolls grew, turning the island into a macabre gallery of decaying toys. People say the dolls move their heads, their limbs, as if they have a life of their own. Some visitors have even claimed to see the dolls' eyes following them, even whisper to each other. Imagine hearing faint, eerie whispers in the dead of night with no one else around. Some even say the dolls are possessed by the spirits of dead children. The island has become a magnet for paranormal enthusiasts and thrill seekers alike. I'm not messing with that. The thought of being surrounded by possessed dolls is enough to send chills down anyone's spine. I'd be out of there faster than you can say Chucky. This island is not for the faint of heart, and it's definitely not a place you'd want to visit alone at night. The dolls with their cracked faces and missing limbs add to the island's haunting allure. Each one tells a story, a silent witness to the island's eerie past. Despite its creepy reputation, Isla de las Muñecas attracts curious tourists from all over the world. They come to see the dolls, to feel the island's strange energy, and to hear the chilling tales firsthand. As the sun sets, the island takes on an even more sinister appearance. The shadows lengthen, and the dolls seem to come alive in the fading light. It's a place where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs, where the dolls are more than just toys, they're a part of the island's soul. So if you ever find yourself in Mexico and you're feeling brave, take a trip to Isla de las Muñecas. Just remember, the dolls are always watching. Chapter 3. Aokigahara, the Suicide Forest. Okay, from dolls to something even creepier, we're heading to Japan, to the Aokigahara Forest, also known as the Suicide Forest. Yeah, you heard that right. This place has a dark history. It's known as a place where people go to, well, end their lives. The forest is eerily quiet, the trees so dense they block out the sun. They say the soil is so rich in iron that compasses go haywire in there. Can you imagine being lost in a place like that, unable to find your way out? People have reported seeing shadowy figures, hearing voices calling their names. Some say the forest itself is haunted by the souls of those who died there. I don't know about you, but I'm not testing that theory. Chapter 4. The Stanley Hotel, where horror gets real. Alright, let's head back to the US, to a place that inspired one of the most iconic horror movies ever, the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. Nestled in the picturesque Rocky Mountains, this grand hotel is not just a feast for the eyes with its stunning architecture and scenic surroundings, but it also holds a dark, eerie secret that has fascinated horror enthusiasts for decades. This place is crawling with paranormal activity. From shadowy figures that seem to move on their own to ghostly apparitions that appear and disappear in the blink of an eye, the Stanley Hotel is a hot spot for supernatural occurrences. It's no wonder that it has become a favorite destination for ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike. Stephen King actually got the idea for The Shining after staying here. Imagine being in a place so eerie and unsettling that it sparks the imagination of one of the greatest horror writers of our time. King stayed at the hotel during its off-season, and the desolate, almost haunted atmosphere left a lasting impression on him. He stayed in room 217, which is said to be one of the most haunted rooms in the hotel. Guests who have stayed in this room have reported a variety of strange occurrences, from flickering lights to objects moving on their own. Some have even claimed to see the ghost of a former housekeeper who met a tragic end in that very room. Guests have reported seeing ghosts in the hallways, hearing children laughing in the middle of the night, even feeling unseen hands touching them. The stories are numerous and varied, but they all share a common thread of inexplicable, spine-chilling experiences that leave a lasting impression on those who encounter them. People say the former owner, F.O. Stanley, still roams the halls, keeping an eye on things. Stanley, who built the hotel in 1909, was deeply attached to it, and many believe his spirit never left. There have been numerous sightings of a man in old-fashioned clothing, believed to be Stanley himself, wandering the corridors and checking on the guests. I wonder if he approves of all the ghost hunters that flock here. The hotel has become a popular spot for paranormal investigations, with many teams setting up their equipment in hopes of capturing evidence of the supernatural. From EVP recordings to thermal imaging, the tools of the trade are as varied as the stories that come out of this haunted hotel. I'd be down to spend a night in this hotel, just to see if I encounter anything spooky. Who's with me? Imagine the thrill of walking through those haunted halls, knowing that you might just come face to face with a ghostly apparition. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, the Stanley Hotel offers an experience that is both thrilling and unforgettable. So pack your bags, gather your courage, and get ready for a night of spine-tingling adventure. Who knows what you might encounter in the shadows of this historic haunted hotel. Chapter 5. The Tower of London. A bloody history. Last but not least, we're finishing up in England, at the infamous Tower of London. This place has seen it all. Executions, torture, imprisonment. You name it, it's happened here. For centuries it was a prison for some of England's most notorious figures. Anne Boleyn, one of King Henry VIII's wives, was beheaded here. Her ghost is said to haunt the tower along with countless others. People have reported seeing her ghostly figure wandering the grounds, her head tucked under her arm. They say the tower is haunted by the ghosts of those who died within its walls, and let me tell you, there have been a lot of deaths here. I'm talking kings, queens, prisoners, you name it. This place is like a magnet for paranormal activity. Thanks for joining us on this terrifying journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more spine-chilling content. Until next time, stay spooky.